My name is Dawn Marie, and this is my channel, DM's Crafty Vortex. This is a channel mostly about cross stitch and also whatever other crafts I happen to get up to throughout the couple of weeks it is between my filmings. Today it's going to be cross stitch, a little bit of knitting, and some quilting is going to be added to the mix this go around, but always cross stitch, and the cross stitch is always at the beginning. So if you are only here for the cross stitch, never fail. I will let you know when I'm going to get into the knitting and the quilting, and that will give you plenty of time to move on to your next floss tube. It's been a couple of weeks since my last video. I have been homesick for a couple of weeks in bed with COVID. Tomorrow is my first day back to work, so I figured I better get this filmed on up and out, or it'll be another couple of weeks before I have time to do another video. I probably touched everything that I'm working on a little bit, so it'll almost be like a WIP parade. I don't think I have many projects that aren't in the lineup for today. Not a lot has been done on a lot of them, but probably a little bit here or there. I had a good probably week and a half where I laid in bed and I didn't touch any of my crafts. I don't think I even sat up in that time frame, just kind of laid there. But I do have plenty to show. I keep looking over here. This is where my stack of projects are. And we can get started on the cross stitch. Oh, okay, so it's been a while. I have forgotten stuff already. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for bearing with me with the long delay. I really appreciate you coming back and seeing all the things I'm working on. If you are new to this channel, thank you so much for stopping by and taking a chance on spending some time looking at my cross stitch. Today's cross stitch is going to be a little bit different than my normal format. I usually try to show befores and afters. Here is where I was last time, and here is where I am now. I just don't think I have the energy today for all that editing. We're going to just try and get through this and download it and get it onto Flosstube without spending the few hours of finding all the old photos. But hopefully you'll still enjoy what you see today. The first thing that I worked on, or these are in no order, so when I say first thing, I just mean it's the first thing I'm grabbing. But I worked on my Cottage Samplers, and I finished up March and I started April. So I am using all the called for colors. I just ordered the kit from the Fat Quarter Shop, so whatever they sent is what I'm using, and I believe this is 16 count beautiful beige is the fabric they sent us, and it is all classic colorwork flosses that I'm using on this. I believe I had a little bit left on March last time I showed you, but March is now completed. And I don't do the window, the little lines on the windows, because I did use Ada, and I'd have to split the seams, and I just can't get it lined up the way I would like, so I'd rather go without the window panes. And then last night I decided to start April a little early. Probably not a smart move to start last night, but I got to get a little bit started last night, and then I got to frog today. So this is where I am at for April, and I did have the whole house done last night. However, let me see if I can show the pattern. These patterns are really small. Here we go. So this is April, and all the houses are 2 stories, and I know they're 2 stories. I have been doing these every month, and every month it's a 2-story house. And I was all excited. I had the entire roof done and all filled in before I realized I completely forgot the entire 2nd story. So I spent today ripping out the roof line, and I'll have to do that 2nd story. I was tempted to leave it in. I figured nobody's going to notice that it's a little 1-story house. It was a cute house, but I would know, so today I frogged. And I'll get back to it in a few days. I have other stuff I need to do now before I work some more on this, but I have the whole month. I've been trying to do them in their actual month, so working on April in April and then next year. I'll show them all. Of course, that's if I actually fully finish something. I have finished some cross stitches. I don't think I've fully finished anything to date, but I will eventually. Another thing I have been plugging away on is my Halloween Quaker by Lila's Studio. And I've been using this for a couple of things. One, I have been using this for hashtag Stitch Asia, which was started by Abby Bellastitch. And throughout the month of March, what we're trying to do is stitch something that either has an Asian designer, or maybe the fabric was dyed by an Asian fabric dyer, something to do with the Asian community, just kind of to bring to light the whole COVID situation and the uptick in violence on Asians in this last year. Note to self, COVID is a human disease. It is not an Asian disease. I just spent 2 weeks in bed with COVID, and I got it from a human. So please, please, just love everybody. There's no responsibility in this other than wear your mask. So there's my stance on COVID and my hashtag Stitch Asia. And I have been trying to work on this in solidarity with everybody. I've also been working on it because Michelle from Bendy Stitchy has been working on this, and she's put together a Zoom, a Quaker Zoom on this, where if you're working on this particular project, we all get together like every other Saturday and we get to stitch on it. So everybody is stitching on the same item, and here is where I am at. I think the last time I showed this, I definitely didn't have the witch done because I spent the last couple of days working on the witch and the bats, and I might have had this started right here. This has been so much fun to work on. I did also dye this fabric myself, and I believe it was just, well, I don't believe, I know, I have the tag right here. It was antique white, 18 count Aida, and I just used some Ritz dye on it. But I love how this is coming out, and this has been so much fun to stitch. I've really enjoyed doing all those Quaker designs. I will be starting another Quaker project soon where I've had so much fun on this. And I have been using all the calls for colors on this as well. I ordered it, I believe, from 123 Stitch, and I just had them kitted up. Another project, I'm just going to set that one aside, that I worked on was a Sal, and this was from Cunning Cross Stitch, so it's cunningcrossstitch.blogspot.com. It's a free Sal that they put out on the 15th of every month, and this is Animal Crossing, which we have all played in this house, and March was Orville. So this is what I worked on for March. And it was also part of my WIP Go was to put 5 hours into the border. I did start this a little late, so I don't have the border done, and I've just kind of been plugging away on it. But my WIP Go number for March was to spend 5 hours on the border. And I did put 5 hours. I know it doesn't look like much, but this border takes a little while to do. So I did 5 hours on the border, and there's Orville. Isn't he so cute? So Tom Nook, I still haven't done the back stitching on his shirt yet, and I might not. I really don't love the leaf pattern, and I've got plenty of time to decide, but that is where I'm at. So an extra 5 hours on the border, and then Orville was not in at all the last time I recorded. And this is just some even weave that I had laying around. I don't know if I have my information on it, but it was just something I got in a remnants pile from Martin, so that is where I am on that. Oh, wait, maybe I do have information. I have these little sheets that I keep in all my folders that I've just started doing, so a few of them have them, some of them don't, but this is 28 count even weave, no color. Next is another sal. This was the year of sals for me. And I'm really trying to ignore all the new ones that are coming out. The one that just came out, is it from the Frosted Pumpkin maybe? With the cafe mocha and the little cup of coffee. Oh my goodness, that is so cute. And I keep seeing it all over Instagram. And I really want to do it, but I have so many projects that I'm working on right now, and then we have April coming up with 2 new starts, and I really just don't think I can handle a 3rd new start. But man, I enjoy watching you all work on it, and it's really hard not to start. The next project, which I said is a sal, this is from Linens and Threads. It's another free sal, and we are on April. Just got released today, a day early, so that is what I will be working on tonight. But I am all caught up. And I apologize, I didn't iron anything, but March was these borders, and they took quite a while, but look, let me see if I can get a close-up on the border. Look at how beautiful that is. So April will be that block right there, and that will take me probably the next couple of nights, especially with as slow as I've been stitching lately. But this is where we're at. And then this is just on I think 18 count Aida, that I didn't do anything to it. That probably was just bought at Michael's, because at Michael's you can get those really big pieces of Aida. And here is April's release right here. So that's what I'll be working on next. And again, Linens and Threads, a free sal. Excuse me. If I don't get everything back in the bag now, I'll start losing stuff, so sorry about that. And I worked a little bit on, like I said, I touched everything a little bit, just depending on if I had any brain power at all on what I was working on. But I worked a little bit on my Sew by Row cross stitch. See if I can find a picture that I can show you. Oh, here we go. So this is by Lori Holt, and it was a, this was a sal, but I did not keep up on the sal, and I knew I wouldn't keep up on the sal when I purchased it. I did buy the kit, so I'm using all the call for colors and the called for fabric on it as well. But yeah, this has been fun to work on. It's on my WIP Go board, and I keep saying WIP Go. This is by Jessie Marie Does Stuff. It's a Facebook page, and it's like a bingo board. And every month she pulls 2 numbers, and whatever you have in that slot is what you work on for the month. So I do have this in a couple of spots to complete a row whenever it's called. And on this, I worked a little bit more on the pin cushions. So I did complete the scissors row because that was called for 1 month to complete the row. So the pin cushions, if it gets called, again, the pin cushions will be a pretty quick row to finish. However, if between now and when it gets called I finish that row, that means I'll have to pick a different row to finish, and it'll be the sewing machine row. So depending on when it gets picked, on which row I work on. So if I finish this row and then it gets picked, I won't say, oh, I already did it. I don't consider anything in the past as part of my WIP Go board. So if I have a project on my WIP Go board that gets completely finished, I will put something else in its place instead of crossing that off. But this is where I am on my sew by row. You will see more on this later on. If you stay around for the quilting portion of this, you'll see a little bit more of the sew by row. But this is actually a lot of fun to just stitch on because there's a lot of nice big blocks of colors that you can work on. Which I found I pulled this out when I just really didn't want to think or deal with any type of confetti. And the last thing that I actually touched cross-stitch wise is a finish. This was by the Stitch and Book Club and by Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts is the Etsy shop, and then the Stitch and Book Club is the club that is on the Etsy site. And I think Stitch and Book Club she keeps also separate in Instagram. So this one was Sense and Sensibility. It is a finish, so part 3 is done. It's not fully finished yet. There is another piece that's going to be coming out where she shows us how she fully finishes it. I did get the kit, so I have all the materials to fully finish it. And this is where we're at on this one. She didn't actually put any wording or anything on this one. She said she went more for the feel of it. And again, I got her kit, so she had dyed up this fabric, and these are the colors for the threads. She did 2 versions, though. She did do one for people who only had access to white, even weave or Aida. She did a different color combination for them, so because with all the white, she changed the whites to the blues. And that is a finish for now. I have this in this cute bag my friend Sue made for me. I had her come over one day and I showed her how to make the project bags, and then one of the ones she made was for me. So this is one of probably the only project bag I have here that I didn't make myself. So this has been a lot of fun. I did sign up for her full year, which is 3 books. She does have 4 books this year, but the last one is not past its copyright limit, so she only got permission to do 600 of the last book. So, but the first 3, there's this one, Little Women, and I think The Great Gatsby might be the 3rd book. So I'm already pre-signed up for all 3 of those. I did not read this book because I've read it probably a million times by now, and I had the book memorized. I have actually never read Little Women, so when that one starts, I will actually have to take time to read the book while I'm stitching. That's it for all the stuff I've actually touched. Now for goals, as I said, WIP Go got called for April, and my 2 April goals for WIP Go that got picked, I think it's 10 and 21, but I could be wrong. But just go to the Facebook group, Jessie Marie Does Stuff, and you can see the numbers that were pulled. But one of my goals was 5 hours on, it's called, I just labeled it as golf. And this is something I am making for my husband. This is going to be long term. It's full coverage, Dreams of the Green. So this got called this month. So I will have to put 5 hours into this project. And this is where I am right now. So I've only put 5 hours into it so far. This was called on the 1st month. So I'm starting right there. So eventually it'll be nice to get down into the lighter colors, but that will probably be quite a while from now. This is not on Pattern Keeper, so I am doing the old-fashioned stitch and highlight method. but we'll see what 5 hours will do on this project. I'm excited to work on it a little bit more and get some progress done. My other WIP Go board that was my temperature tree that I finished for last year. So this was my 2020 temperature tree. And what I need to do is I need to just chart out the word Maine in 2020 and then stitch that on here. So that's all I have left to do, but I've been home sick, so I haven't had access to a store to get some graph paper, and I want to get some graph paper so that I can chart it out, and then once I do that, this will be finished and ready to be framed. Again, I haven't really fully finished anything, so I will have to watch a video on how to frame this, and then that will be done. So those are my April WIP Go challenges I need to do this month. And then I have 2 new starts for the month. The first one is going to be a SAL, and this is going to be with xstitchmd and 911stitcher. It's going to be the Quakers Pride pattern, which is, I think it's a German project maybe. I had to get it off. I got the Silk app, and then with the Silk app the Silk app is free, and then with it there's patterns on the app, and you do pay for the pattern, but it's almost like Pattern Keeper in that once you have it on there you get to like just do the pattern right off that. You do have the ability to print off it as well. So I did try to go on the site, but it wasn't in English, and I didn't want to do the whole translation. Do you see that little fuzz flying around? So for this, I am going to put a picture right here so you can see what it looks like, because I don't have a pattern or a picture printed up. I do just have it on the app. And there that thing goes again. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch it, so we'll just let it fly and have fun with us. Now for this, that very light background, I didn't really have time to order fabric for it, and when I did find a piece of fabric big enough, it was $70, and I just don't have that type of money to put into a piece of fabric right now. So I just got a piece that I dyed up myself. So this was just 16 count Aida that I got at Michael's, because again, Michael's has that really big piece of Aida that you can buy, and I think it came out really pretty. I tried to go for a somewhat solid looking color, and I think that worked. It's only a couple of colors that you really need for it. I changed the red to purple because I just was not a fan of the red. Did my floss toss, and here we go. I'm really excited to get started on this. This is supposed to be an April 1st start, however, I have my linens and threads sale, so I want to get that done first. And then once I get my linens and threads April done, then I'll get some stitching in on this. I'm really excited to get started on this. Again, just really enjoy working on Quaker type projects. I find them really soothing, repeating around the image. So that is one new start for April. And then my second new start for April is another sale that I've kind of snuck into myself. This is Kansascitygirlinacoloradoworld. Julie started a, not really a sale, but she started a birthday start, which was Bellatrix from Bella Filipina Designs. And she did a hashtag Bellatrix birthday sale. And I absolutely fell in love with that pattern when I was watching her work on it. And I knew I absolutely wanted to make it, and I also wanted to do it as a new start for my birthday as well. And my birthday's in a couple of weeks, so as soon as that comes, I'm going to get this started, and I'm going to join Julie on the Bellatrix birthday sale. I got a bag that I made up for it, and I have decided that I prefer to bobbinate my floss. I've been doing the floss rings, but I feel like as they go in and out of the bag, they just get all linty and they're getting all tangled. And I wanted a bag that kept all my bobbins together though, because if you put it in that big plastic bin, and that's just too big and awkward, so I made this bag up. And what about you? Do you prefer to bobbinate? Do you like your floss rings? Do you prefer bobbins but you just don't like to bobbinate, so you use the floss rings anyways? Let me know below, how do you like to do your flosses? Mine is a bag that I did with a spot for my bobbins. So this is going to keep my bobbins right on in with my project. And then there's my extra flosses because there are some colors that you're gonna need multiples of. And then I have right in here, again, it needed a big piece of fabric, so I dyed this up myself. And I had some fun with that. We'll see how it looks. And then I have in my other pocket, because I have 2 pockets, here is the pattern. So this is Bellatrix by Bella Filipina Designs. Isn't that stunning? I cannot wait to start on that. The 14th is when I will start. That's my birthday. So I think I did a pretty good job with the fabric. You don't always want it to be exact because otherwise I could just buy this picture. So it's nice to have it be a little bit different. And I can't wait to get started on that. Use my new bag. So there we have that. It has a pocket on each side. And then the zip-it compartment. And I actually figured out how to do some snaps. So no Velcro on this. Really excited about this bag. And then I have some haul. So that's my plans. I think that's more than enough plans to get me through April. Again, I've been stitching a lot slower. But I did get some haul over these last few weeks. So the first one is my Fortnite fabrics. I got a couple of pieces from them in the, what did I get? So the 12 shades of gray. I have 18 count aider and it's 1/8 of a yard. So this is called Road Trip. See if there's a way to open this without being too crinkly. It's just going to be crinkly. So this is Road Trip. And what I've decided for next month is I'm only going to get 1 piece of fabric, but I'm going to get it bigger. So this is what I got. So that's Road Trip. And Road Trip, the theme for this was the Greyhound bus. So that's how gray and Road Trip came into play on this. And I like how they give you the little card to go with it so that you know when you pull it out what it is. Now I have some bins for each different size fabric that I bought, although I just watched Erin's video on Steel City Stitchers on how to organize your fabric. And that seems like a pretty nice system. I may have to change my system over to that. I have been, so with being sick and home for 2 weeks, and I don't like to watch TV, so pretty much the only thing I watch is Flosstube, and I watch YouTube for knitting. It only took about a day to make it through all my backed up floss tubes. So for the since then, COVID brain, it's real. Trying to form a coherent sentence is not easy. But Steel City Stitchers, I went back to episode #1 and I started watching through. So they're probably wondering who the heck is watching episode 1, 2, 3, and multiple times, because you start it, you fall asleep halfway through. At least when you're sick, you fall asleep about halfway through. Autoplay probably kicks in 3 more episodes. You wake up, you go back to episode 1. But so I've been watching Steel City Stitchers. I am up to episode 32. I think Kristen has gone through 4 hair colors by now. Erin has decided that she's gone from Ada to linen. Jody is now dyeing fabric. So it's in, Erica. You just gotta love Erica, and her tea dyeing is gorgeous. But it's funny, you go back to that first episode pre-COVID and hearing them all say, in 2020, we're going to do this, and in 2020, we're going to do that, and you're watching going, no, no, you're not. But I am up to episode 32, and I got tonight to watch a few more, and then I'm back to work tomorrow, so back to my regularly scheduled program. This next fabric, it's called 5 Star, and it's an opal colorway. This one's actually 14 count. They ran out of the size that I wanted, and they sent out emails that we could either wait or we could pick a different thread count, and I just told them to surprise me. I didn't care what they sent me. So this is 5 Star. Look how pretty that is. So it's actually darker than it's showing. So let me see if I can get it. If you see this area right here, the whole thing's pretty much, the lighter areas are actually probably this color, but it is really pretty. But what I've decided to do for next time is I'm getting rid of the opal because I'm not really a sparkly type person. I'm going to keep the 12 shades of gray, but go with a bigger piece because I do tend to, I find, go towards bigger pieces. And I'm going to set this aside because it's crinkling, and I will put that back in the bag later. I also got from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. Oh my goodness. This was March, and it is gorgeous. So I get their fabric and their thread. So this is 16 count Aida, 17 by 26. I did actually change for April, and I moved over to Lagana, and I think maybe 32 count. I can't quite remember. But this color name is Jade Dragon, and oh my goodness, look at this. Look at how pretty that is. That is gorgeous. I have got to find something to do on this. And then the threads. Look at the threads. These are gorgeous. So we have crystal drops, spring leaves, clovers, jade, and daisy. Look at the variegation in that. So pretty. I think this is the one reason I actually did video today, was so I could get this into my stash and out of my to be shown pile. And then last for my cross stitch haul is I did get the on the go stitching box. I am sure by now everybody knows what's in this box, and that an unboxing has been watched in one way, shape, or form. But we'll just go through it quickly. It had an It's Always an Adventure with You, Winnie the Pooh, little bag to put your notions in. Some floss drops with these little maps on them, because again, on the go. A protein puck that I can now put on the counter for somebody to eat. A cute little wallet. It says, I'd rather be buying cross stitch. So I don't carry a purse, so I don't carry a wallet, but I might set this aside for, hopefully, cross stitch retreats will, oops. I am sorry, I hit my mic sometimes without paying attention, so that's probably even worse than a crinkle. And a duffel bag. I went to my craft room, and all I got was this tote bag. trying to read this upside down, not easy. This is a, this is going to be the episode of the crinkles. I am sorry. So what this is you actually can close this up, and you do that all the way around, and you have yourself a little box to keep all your stuff in. Again, this will be great for a retreat. I have one in November, and I think by November we should be fine. We'll all be vaccinated, and worst comes to worst, you wear a mask, but I'm holding out for my November retreat. This is a bracelet, but it is a ruler as well. This may actually end up in my knitting bag versus anything cross-stitchy, but it's a nice leather bracelet. This is super cute, and I'm really excited now to pull this out and start using it. What it is a little wooden stand, and you can put your phone right on here, and then your charger comes out there, or you can put a pattern on there. This is going to be great now for when I cross stitch. I can just kind of put my, actually, I have a metal board that I put my pattern on, which I think will fit on here perfectly. And it does say Flosstube on it. Look how cute that is. I think this is my favorite thing in the entire box. These little travel scissors, which come out, and then there you go. These actually feel like nice quality scissors. Then needle minder, resting stitch face. How adorable is that? Can't wait to start using this now. Although with our masks on, can you really tell if we're resting stitch faces or not? The specialty floss is Bouquet, and this is by BeStitchMe. Now it's funny because last month's specialty floss by a different company was also called Bouquet. And I think that, yeah, that was a silk one as well, I believe. So 2 months in a row, completely different looking, but both called Bouquet. Isn't that gorgeous? I'll add that to my silk collection. And then the pattern is in ink circles. It's called Half the Fun. And this has all different means of travel. You get the hot air balloons, in cars and boats, and you know, every place you look is something a little bit different. Very cute pattern. And I think that's everything in the box, and that is everything for my cross stitch. So if you are only here for the cross stitch, thank you so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed what you saw, please hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up. That really helps other people know that my Flosstube channel is here, and it helps us so much. And it also lets you know when I upload my next video, which will hopefully not be quite as long as the pause between this one and my last one. If you're here to see the knitting in the quilting, that's what we're going to come to next. And again, I'm not editing, so sorry. You're going to see me try to clean up a little bit. So as far as the knitting goes, while there are a lot of projects, they are all the same exact project. And that is the Musselburgh hat. So here it is, the Musselburgh hat by... See if I can show the name without showing any of the pattern. Right there. And I have 3 of them at the moment, all in 3 different stages. So the first one that I made for my brother is done. So here is his Musselburgh hat. And let's see if I have my yarn band. That is from a Homespun house. Yes, here it is. and this was the Mad Eye Moody colorway. It was 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. This only had 407 yards, so not quite enough to finish it, but here it is. And what this is it ends up being just a long tube that you do increases and decreases. And then see, I didn't have quite enough to finish it, but that's okay because that's the inside of the hat. And then you just tuck the hat in on itself. And then you fold up the brim, and here you go. So here is my brother's hat that I will get to him after it's been decontaminated from being in my house for the last couple of weeks. So that is a finish. That one was done on US size 3 Chalgu needles, and I did the adult large on that for him. I started that one with Chalgu double pointed needles, US size 3 as well. The second one is for my daughter Kayla, and this is, I believe, Dragon Hoard yarns. I'm not quite sure. Let's see. So this is Dragon Hoard yarns. This is about halfway done. I'm doing an adult large for her as well, as she liked the fit. And here we go. So Dragon Hoard yarns. And the colorway is Fallen Angel, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. This does have 463 yards on it, so I will be able to get the whole thing done without having to add a second color to the end. But this is coming out really pretty. And then yet another Musselburgh hat. Now this one I started slightly different. I did not use the double pointed needles. I went with a circular and just did magic loop until I got past the increases. And then I switched over to my 16-inch US size 3s. And this I'm making for my aunt. My aunt's favorite color is green. And this does have a little bit of green in it. So I'm hoping she'll like this. This was March Yarnable. And I think it was Gaelic Faerie. Nope, Celtic Faerie. And this is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 437 yards to the 100 grams. So I should have enough of this. And I am doing an adult medium for her because she has a petite little head. But here we go for that. And I'm really excited. I just got the notification that my April Yarnable box will be shipped today or tomorrow, so I should have that fairly soon as well. It's really nice to have this to work on at night when you have no brain power left, because it's just like a huge sock. It's just knit, 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 knit. I don't have to worry about any patterns once you get past the increases. And then when you get to the decreases, those are super quick and easy to do. So that is my knitting. And now for the quilting, I have not quilted in forever. It's probably been about 6 or 7 years since I've actually sat down and pieced a quilt. Now, this is not the fabric I showed last time. That is in a box waiting to be cut. But I signed up for a block of the month through the Fat Quarter shop. And I thought it would be fun. I have a little board that my friend Sue made me to do the Sew by Row again. So I'm doing a cross stitch, but I'm also going to do the block of the month and do the actual quilt pattern. So it'll be done up as a quilt as well. And can I tell you, tiny pieces, little tiny pieces. So this is where I have gotten. It took me a few days to get everything cut up. Again, real slow going. I am not out of bed very much every day, but this is where I am at. So these little teeny pieces. These are little 1-inch squares right there. And here's the little teeny squares that I've got all my lines drawn on the back. So not much to show on this. Today's the first day I actually did any sewing on it. As a block of the month, I will only get sent the fabric I have the directions for the whole quilt, but I only have the fabric for April, and then May I'll get another package of fabric in the mail. So I can only do one row at a time, which is nice because it stops you from feeling like you have to do it all at once. And then it came with all the little buttons for the sewing machines, which I probably won't put on until after I send the quilt away, get it quilted, and get it back. But that is everything. I feel like that was probably more than enough for this floss tube. I'm going to get everything cleaned up. I'm going to get into bed and relax for the rest of the evening before I attempt to go to work tomorrow. Thank you all for stopping by and spending this time with me. Again, hit the like button, subscribe, thumbs up, and let me know, do you bobbinate your floss or do you floss tube it? Which way do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, happy crafting!